Well, hello, hello. This is Rose RCG Creations. How are you doing? We're bringing to you today how to make sourdough. I got some sourdough starter from my sister during the Christmas holiday. And she gave me a recipe that she uses, that she's been using for over 15 years. And we had some for Christmas Day, so it was fantastic. Okay, so what you do is you get the starter. You put the starter in the refrigerator, which has been in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 days, because it's been in the fridge for 4 to 5 days, the 5th day. Take out the starter and feed it. So we're going to feed it with 3/4 cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of dried potatoes. I didn't have any potato flakes, so I got my dehydrated potatoes and I grounded it up and made my own potato flakes. And I made extra so I can have this for the next time. So this will be for my potato flakes. Okay, it's 3 tablespoons of dried potatoes. And she uses potato flakes because it's just easier. So you could do, like, if you had made some mashed potatoes with no seasoning, no nothing on it, mashed them up, then froze them, you could do that. Any kind of potato. Mostly potato flakes. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what this is for. I think it's kind of like a filler or something. But something that it needs or something. I don't know what. If anybody knows, please put it in the comments what the potato flakes does. I'll look it up myself, but if anybody knows, that'll just help me out a little bit. I don't have to do some more research. Okay, then we're going to add 1 cup of white flour. And I'm using bread flour. She highly recommends bread flour. So I'm using bread flour also. I happen to have the same brand she does, King Arthur bread flour. And then 1 cup of warm water, which actually that's a little hot. It's a little warm. Oh, I just got to stir it up. 1 cup. Okay, and then we're going to mix it all up. Mix well and add to the starter. Leave the starter, so we just got to mix this up. So I'm just going to mix it all up. I just took a photo of her recipe, and I'll put it in the description box. Because I didn't bring a notebook or purse. I didn't even bring a purse with me. I put a little baby purse is all I had on my lipstick. Which is not Rosa. I always carry a big old purse, but I didn't that day. So let's just going to mix this all up. And you want to use the same bowl for every time you're doing stuff like this. And this is going to go, let's see, once you leave it out, mix well and add to the starter. Leave the mixture out of the refrigerator all day, so 8 to 10 hours. Okay, so I'll clock myself. I'll set my timer. It will not rise, but only bubble, and that's what you want. When it starts to bubble, that's when you know it's a good to use, and you can start baking with it. And then we'll do the bubble test, where you put a little bit of the dough in a glass container, and if it floats, that means it's ready to bake with. Okay, so I think that's done. It doesn't say to mix it and all that, so I don't think I have to overly mix it. It just says mix it. And from all the videos that I've been watching, it just says mix it. So there's a couple of little lumps in here. Let me show you. See, there's a couple little lumps, but I think I'm okay with that. But I can definitely smell the fermentation from before from the starter. Okay. Now you just get a towel and cover it. Let's see, and it's mostly so nothing gets inside of it. It's really what you want to do that for. But remember, it's not going to rise. So this is just gonna. I'm gonna move this over to my kitchen counter so it's out of the way, because it's gonna have to sit here for 8 hours, and we'll bring you back when we get to the next phase, which will be tomorrow. Okay, we are back for phase 2. It's been 8 hours. And look how foamy and bubbly, which is what it's supposed to be doing. But I only need 1 cup of this to make my bread. So, what it said, yeah, you're in frame. I don't want to get myself too much into it because I'm in my PJs. Let me just get you a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. Okay, so it says now we're going to, you're going to use 1 cup of the starter and put the rest of it in the fridge, but I need this silver bowl because I need to keep that. So I'm going to put my starter, let me get my oil out of the way. I didn't fill this all the way to the top because I didn't want to spill it. So I'm just going to measure 1 cup of my starter. Okay. It smells like it's been fermenting, so it looks like it's worked. It's worked. So let me get 1 cup of the starter. I'm sorry out of frame, but like I said, I'm in my PJs, so let me just roll this up. And I'm going to put the rest of this in a jar, label it, date it, because once a week I need to feed it. And the feed is what I did the first time, but I only have to do this once a week. Okay, so that's close enough to 1 cup for my taste. Now the rest of this is going to go in my jar. And I'm using a wide mouth jar so I have room when I add more to it. Or if I discard, I can do that. I should have had a funnel, but I didn't. I forgot. But that's okay. That's alright. We're good to go. All I'm doing is moving this starter into another container because this has to go back into the fridge for the next time I want to make bread. But because this is my first time, I only want to do it 1 batch. As I get better, I'll make more batches, but not right now. Those little chunks is part of the potatoes when I ground them up to make the potato flakes. So I'm not going to worry about it because because this was covered, so I know it's not anything else or bug or nothing because this was covered. That's one reason why I read a bunch of them is you want to cover that just so it's covered and nothing gets inside of it. Now that's going to go into the wash so I can wash it. Then I'm going to oil it because you have to oil it. And this is my starter. So I'll label this starter. And that's going to go in the fridge. Don't need that jar. I wasn't too sure if I needed 1 jar or 2. So now I need to go wash this because now the next thing it says to do is to get ready to make your bread. Let's see. If you do not make your bread, throw or give away 1 cup and refrigerate the rest. But I'm going to be making bread, so I'm going to go ahead and get it ready for this. So that's why they saved that 1 cup. Whether the bread is made or not, feed the starter at least once a week. That's why you need to date everything and when you start everything in phases. And continue to date it when you do something. To make the bread, you're going to use 1/2 cup of sugar, which is already pre-measured. 1/2 cup of oil, which is right here pre-measured. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which is pre-measured with my sugar. 1 cup of the starter. 1.5 cups of warm water, which is in the microwave. And then 6 cups of white flour. You're going to put it all, mix it up. So I'm going to mix all this up. Put it all together, mix it. Okay. Actually, I don't want to do this on this bowl. I want it because I want to wash this bowl. I want to get another bowl. So I'm going to bring you back when I get to that phase, okay? So bring you back. Okay, be back. Got 4 cups of flour. Last 2 cups. This is 6 cups of flour. My sugar and my salt. Let's mix this up. I like to mix my dry ingredients to make sure that they get very well incorporated. I'm one tired puppy. I'm sleepy. But luckily, this is going to sit for, do the whole thing. It's going to sit for 8 to 12 hours. So in the morning, I can roll it out and get it ready and bake it. So I will be getting up early. But then I already planned to do that when I started this so late today. So, and I'm working from home tomorrow, so that works out. Go all the way to the very middle to make sure you incorporate everything in the very middle of the bowl, just to make sure. I'm going to add the starter. My water. And it's warm water. And then my oil. This is not really canola oil. It's just vegetable oil, but I use, because of my galley kitchen, I like to recycle my oil containers. Oh, I lied. This one really is canola oil, but you know what? That's okay. That's what I'm going to use because that's what I have. I have other oils, but we're going to use this one. I'm going to make sure that this is a full cup. Full half a cup. Okay. We'll close this up before I spill it. But I do recycle my oils, my containers, because I love, this is a perfect size for my little galley kitchen and my pantry. So I do recycle those jars. But I only recycle them twice, and then they get thrown away. So I'm very slowly going to mix this up. And then I'm going to put, once you've mixed it all up, you're going to put a piece of foil over it. I'm going to put mine in the oven. And there's where it's going to stay for the next 8 to 12 hours till I get ready to bake. I could leave it on my counter because it's nice and warm and comfortable in here, but I've been doing a lot of reading that based on your temperature. Now my sister says she puts it in the oven and sometimes she leaves it on the counter. It varies on what's going on, so I say either way is fine. I may just leave this on my counter because it's not cold in our home. We don't keep it overly cold. It's not overly hot either. So you see how now it's starting to get into like a dough consistency, which is what you want. But it still has to rise. That's why it has to sit. And it does. Let me make sure I'm reading everything correctly. First, let me concentrate on I want to make sure that all of this is incorporated with the flour, because it does say, mix well and add to, okay, that's the starter. Use 1 cup of the starter to bake the bread. Return the rest to the refrigerator if you did not make, which is already in the jar. Give away 1 cup. Okay, yeah, bread. Grease a large bowl, which my bowl, my bowl's right here. Grease a large bowl, put dough in and turn it over to lightly coat with oil. Cover lightly with aluminum foil. Let it rise overnight, 8 to 12 hours. In the morning, divide the dough into 3 parts and gently knead each piece, and then you bake it. Then you only bake it for 30-35 minutes and we're done. So, I actually didn't have to wash this bowl. I didn't have to since I'm doing this mixing in it. But I'm going to go ahead and do all this mixing in it. And I'm going to get another bowl and put that in there, because this is going to it's going to rise. So, and that's the bowl that's going to sit on my counter. Okay, I'm thinking I can go ahead and pretty close to, because it doesn't say form into a ball or nothing, it just says mix. It just, whether the bread is made, do not feed it. It just says to make the bread, to mix all this together. So it doesn't say make it into a bowl, make it into a ball, shape it into a ball. I do know that it said it's going to be sticky, which it is sticky. And you can always put your hands in some water. And you know what, I'm going to see if I can do this. Again, if anybody knows what I'm doing wrong, please let me know, because I have no idea if I'm supposed to be doing this part. And it's too late, because it's already 12:15 to call my sister. And there's a bunch of flour in the bottom center. And I want to make sure that all this flour is incorporated in here. But I'm pretty sure this is what it's supposed to be. But if anybody knows, please let me know in the comments section. And if all else fails, we'll find out tomorrow. Because it's still sticky, like it said it was going to be, but it's not overly sticky. It's still manageable. It's just kind of messy. Okay, so I've still got a lot of flour here, so I need to work this in. Okay, it's starting to soak up all the extra flour here. Yep, I'm getting it all done. Okay, so I need to transfer this into, because it didn't say, I remember, let me see, what did it say? Grease a large bowl, put dough in and turn it over lightly, coat all with oil, so that means all the sides cover. So, and as you can see, it is making kind of a dough shape. So, and almost all my flour is totally gone. So I think I'm good to go with this the way it is. And it's not, see how my hands are not all sticky with a bunch of dough on it? So I just had to knead it a little bit and work with it a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go get the other bigger container, oil that one, put it in there, and we'll bring it back in just a minute. So I want to make sure that you see step by step of what's going on. Okay, we're back. I've got my bigger bowl, sprayed some oil on it. And look, that's all that's left. So I think that's pretty darn good. And then I'm just gonna, it said coat all sides with the oil. So I'm just going to turn it around and soak up all the sides with the oil. I think all the sides got oil on them. At least I think so. Okay. Put this in the middle, and that's how I'm going to leave it. I'm hoping this is good. And then it says, grease a large bowl, put dough in and turn it over lightly, coat with oil all over, cover lightly with aluminum foil, let it sit. So, we're good to go. We're done. We'll come back to this in 8 to 12 hours But we'll take the dough out, we'll divide it, and we'll bake it. So we'll see you at the next phase. Well, hello, we're back. Now we're at the next phase. I lightly greased 3 containers, sprayed them with some pan, taking my foil off, and look at this baby. Okay. It says to, let's see here, after you let it rise 8 to 10 hours overnight. In the morning, divide the dough into 3 parts and gently knead each piece a few times, and then you put it into a lightly greased loaf pan. Okay, so, yeah, like typical, it's going to shrink once you touch it, which I kind of need clean hands. And you can see it is a little on the sticky side. You can see that. See how it's kind of sticky down the bowl there? You see that? Right here. Okay, so let me make my little phone thing a little bit smaller. So divide it into 3 parts and then lightly knead it. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit of flour so it doesn't get stuck on my table. My table is clean. So I'm going to put my little pile of flour. So let's divide this into thirds. It's not going to be totally exact, but close enough. Okay. Alrighty. You know what? I'm going to put this whole thing on here. Oh. Okay, there's that one part. This sucker's heavy. And there's that part. And that's pretty much about equal, I think. So let's put this one back over here. And then it just says knead it, lightly knead it. Knead each piece a few times. Okay, so it's oily from the oil, but it's not totally sticky. So just a few times, 1, 2, 3. So I think we're good. That's 3 times. I'm going to put this in here, and then we're going to let it rise, because it says knead it a few times, lightly grease the pan, which I did, and brush it with oil, which I'll get my oil when I do all 3. And then you let the dough rise all day, at least 5 to 6 hours. Then it's time to bake. Okay? So we're going to go to that next phase. Let me get this one here, because I got to knead this one at least 3 times. Two, 3. So I'm thinking I'm good. And here's one of my new silicone baking pans that I got, because I wanted to do it kind of pretty. So I know this is too big, but oh well, it is what it is. You work with what you have. Okay, I think. Let me get some of this big chunk of dough here off the bowl. Okay, now we're going to knead it. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to try to soak up most of my flour that I have on my table, so I don't have very much of a mess to clean up. Okay, and actually this is a little bit bigger. I'm going to move this guy to this one, because that's a little bit smaller bowl than that one. So one bowl right here, the other there, 3. I'll be right back. I'm going to wash my hands, clean my table, then I'm going to brush it with oil, then we're going to let it sit. And I think that is about done for this phase. Okay, got a little oil in my bowl, my pastry brush. And let's oil this, because it says lightly oil. Put in a lightly greased loaf pan and brush with oil, and then let it rise for 5 to 6 hours. So it's going to rise again. This is really not hard. It's just pretty time consuming. And then you got to really follow your directions pretty well. Because it just says put it in a loaf pan, but it didn't say like what size loaf pan. Let me move that over so I can brush the sides of that. Okay, let's get the rest of this oil. And because this is a soft sourdough, it's not the hard crunchy one, you don't have to score the top of this with a blade like you do the hard crunchy sourdough, which is what I did not want. Hubby and I prefer the soft bread, not the crunchy bread. This is why I was very pleased when my sister gave me part of her starter, so I can start this part. And then once I practice with this more, and I pretty much know what I'm doing, I will venture out into making that crunchy bread, because I want to make some a cream soup, like a broccoli cheese or white chicken chili, or some chili itself, regular homemade chili, and put it in a bread bowl. That way you can have the bowl, and then you can eat your bread after you're done with it. Okay, so I think that is done. This is going to go wash my hands. It doesn't say cover. It doesn't say any of that. But I'm going to cover it because, unfortunately, this is one reason a lot of these recipes online, Google, internet, whatever internet service you're using, YouTube, the whole thing. There's so many missing pieces. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I don't know what's going on. I called my sister, but she's kind of busy. She's babysitting her grandkids right now, so I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. But I am going to cover these, just lightly cover. And again, I do like to remove the excess oil before it goes into the oven, because I hate that extra step to clean. Because this is from that spray of the oil, so I remove all this every time when I have to spray something. I remove it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put that foil back on, even though it doesn't say it. I just don't know if I'm supposed to or not. But it's just barely on there, so it's not going to hurt nothing. And then this one, because I know I'll double check it in 3 hours just to see how much it's risen. So it's going to rise. You know what? In fact, let me take a picture. Let's take a picture so I'll know how much it's risen. And we can use that as a basic format. Okay, so that took care of that one. That picture's done. This is done. Wrap this back up. So I'll bring you back when we do the taste test. I'm not going to bring you back when I take it all off here and put it in the oven, because all I'm going to do is take the covers off and stick it in the oven, and that's all I'm going to do. Okay, so we'll bring you back when we do the taste test. We are back, and look, all 3 of them did. Here's the tube. Look at that. This one just got out of the oven, so it's still hot. Oops. Oh, someone's trying to call me. Probably a solicitor. I'm not going to answer. Look at this one. Didn't that turn out great? Gotta let it cool off a little bit before I put it on the cooling rack. But let's do the taste test. Oh, let me show you. Look, squishy. See how it bounces back? This one was made in the metal loaf pan. This was made in the silicone bread pan. And this is the silicone bread pan. But the biggest thing is, let's see what it tastes like. With that sugar, the amount of sugar, and I'll put the full recipe in the description box. It adds just a little hint of sweetness. This will be good for kind of like a sweet bread. I would omit the sugar or cut it in half if I was going to use this to make sandwich bread, because it is a little too sweet for sandwich bread. Oh man. Look at the texture on this. I'd say this is for sure the 2 thumbs up, a definite win. We thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you the next. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care now. Bye bye. I think the next time I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make. Hubby, he loves cinnamon raisin bread. I'm going to make him a loaf of cinnamon raisin bread because it makes 3 loaves, which is way more than we need. I'll make me a regular cinnamon bread and make him a cinnamon raisin bread. And then he can have that as a snack for the whole week to 2 weeks. Now, it says that this bread is great once it's totally cooled off. Wrap the whole thing in plastic. Wrap it totally all the way, make sure it's all enclosed, and then put it in a Ziploc freezer bag. I'm going to use my recycle bags, and then stick it in your freezer, and they'll last up to 3 months in the freezer. Take it out the night before you want to use it. Let it thaw out. I'll just let it thaw out on a cooling rack like I have here, and then we'll have some fresh homemade bread. All we gotta do is heat up. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye. So I say this was a win-win for me. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.